worked through that issue, looked at the data, and cleared it. All with the world watching. Impressive work by the launch team. So we have a 2-hour window, which starts in just a few minutes at 6:24 p.m. Eastern Time and goes until 8:24 p.m. Eastern Time.
And ECL NTD will be waiting for your verification on the short purge.
ECL copies.
And for all personnel, once we get that short purge verification, we'll verify that we are clear to go, and then we'll proceed with the terminal count.
And we are live. Hopefully, that is. We get a launch today. And I'll be right back in a minute. I'm still
ECL time estimate?
Set up.
About a minute.
Copy.
Still getting things set up at this end. I had some equipment that decided to run out of power. Of course it did.
So we're going into the launch window.
Get my stuff in order here.
But not by much, it looks like.
Meanwhile,
just wrapping up some final work. And once that's completed, you'll hear NASA Test Director Jeff Spaulding ask for the ground launch sequencer operator to go ahead and start the clock. The ground launch sequencer is an application software. It runs on top of the launch control system in the firing room. It acts like a conductor of an orchestra, executing hundreds of commands in precise order and timing. It's all autonomous.
NTD CCL 212, short purge initiation is verified.
All right, copy that, and we're verifying our constraints. All right, and we're clear from cutouts. And with that, we're going to resume the clock momentarily. And CGLS, you can resume the clock on your mark.
GLS copies. 3, 2, 1, mark. GLS mainline has been initiated.
T-minus 10 minutes and counting.
And that begins terminal count. Our new T0 is 6:35 p.m. Eastern Time. 6:35 p.m. Eastern Time. We are now counting down to liftoff of Artemis II. From now on, you're going to hear two voices on the loops. If everything goes nominally, NASA Test Director Jeff Spaulding, who's directly managing the launch team, and Alex Bendelos, the GLS operator who closely monitors the software. He has the ability to stop and restart the countdown. A lot of people ask about whether there's a launch button. There certainly is not.
Flight and Rock, our new T0 is 22:35:12.
Houston flight copies.
Rock copies.
22:35:12.
Affirm.
There you heard confirmation of the exact T0, 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. Again, our T0 is 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. But as I was saying, there's no launch button. This is autonomous. But there is a button that keeps you from launching, and that button allows the GLS operator to pause the countdown outside of terminal count and during terminal count and submit a hold to the next holding point. So the clock won't stop right away. If there's an issue, we'll go to the next stable holding point. This is how GLS configures the rocket and ground systems to a stable point where they can stop the countdown if that's needed. But right now, we are counting down. Our next big milestone, looking to retract the crew access arm.
GLS is go for crew access arm retract.
And there you see the crew access arm moving away. That's the path that the astronauts took to ingress into the rocket. Until this point, that was their way off the pad if they needed to evacuate. But now with that arm retracting, the backup transitions to a launch abort system. And they'll begin arming that shortly. Of course, the launch abort system, great shot there of the crew access arm retracting away. The launch abort system is the tower at the top, and that's what would pull Orion and its crew off the top of the rocket in case of an emergency, whether it's on the ground or in flight. This is critical safety hardware that protects the lives of the astronauts. Starting at T-minus 6 minutes, the GLS will start bringing that and other high-energy systems online, starting with core stage pressurization. Weather is 90% go. The range is go. All systems are go.
GLS is go for core stage tank pressurization.
That means the replenish valve for the liquid hydrogen tank has now closed, and that tank is beginning to pressurize to flight levels because that hydrogen is naturally boiling inside the tank. We'll get the liquid oxygen tank a little later in the count. Now the team is waiting for verification that, if needed, the Artemis II crew could use the launch abort system to pull Orion safely off the top of the rocket in an emergency. Let's listen in for that call.
GLS verifies last capability available.
And CDR, do you copy?
CDR copies, last available.
That's great news, and you heard the NTD verify that with the commander of the mission.
GLS is go for FTS arm.
Now work is being done to arm the flight termination system. This is so the range safety can send a flight termination command if the rocket flies too far off track. There's a brief built-in delay, so the launch abort system has time to pull the astronauts
GLS
to
is
safety
go for
first.
LH2 high flow bleed check.
All right, the high flow bleed check. That's so the cryo team gets verification that the RS-25 engines, all 4 of them, are in the proper temperature range for launch.
GLS is go for core stage APU start.
Core stage APUs start. Those are auxiliary power units, high-speed turbines which provide pressure to hydraulic pumps that steer the RS-25 engines. We're going to see a gimbal test a little later at T-minus 2 minutes and 30 seconds. This is what allows that to happen. Coming up in about 20 seconds, we're listening for go for purge sequence 4. That's a helium purge of the 4 core stage engines downstream of the propellant valve. This gets all the air and moisture out of there.
GLS is go for purge sequence 4.
Moving through the milestones. All is looking good. Coming up in just a few seconds, we're going to get that thrust vector control actuator test. This is a gimbaling of the engines. There are the 4 RS-25s, 3 of them Shuttle Heritage,
We're
one of
live.
them built from Shuttle parts. And there you see them moving. Now we're going to start moving the power from both
This
the
is
upper
just
stage
like
and the lower stage of the
reliving my
rocket
childhood
to
all over
internal,
again.
taking ground power away and now going to battery power.
Going to the moon.
GLS is go for upper
I
stage.
have experienced this. Hopefully, many of
My
you out
power is
there
removed
have
from the
too.
rocket's upper stage, the ICPS, and it's been switched to battery. Same milestone for the lower core stage coming up at T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds.
69.
Right now, the 4-person Artemis 2 crew
First time
is
going to the moon. And this
248,000
is our
miles
return. to
away from the moon. And if all goes well, they will fly by it in 6 days.
GLS is go for core stage to internal power.
All right, there's the rocket's
Coincidentally,
core stage,
the
which
gas from
houses
Star
3
Trek
flight
just
computers,
before the
is
first
now on
launch.
its own power.
And after we landed on the moon,
There's
not
no
the
more
first
hold
launch,
time
but
because there's no more
landing on the
margin
moon.
on these batteries.
And
So we'd have to recycle
after
back
we
to
landed on the
T-minus 10
moon,
to recharge
Paramount,
if we had a hold.
Desi Lou Studios were probably going, Scheisse. Too late.
1 minute.
Already been canceled. No episodes
Right
there.
now, the rocket does not know what the T0 is, but coming up at T-minus 33 seconds, control shifts from the ground launch sequencer to the rocket's onboard autonomous launch sequencer, or ALS. The rocket will count
Holy
itself
crap.
down, but honor any holds that could come from the ground.
We are almost
Now, shortly after
there,
liftoff,
folks.
Houston will take control of the rocket, and my colleague Gary Jordan will take over commentary.
Meant to be on sooner than this.
GLS is go for ALS.
Great call out. The rocket is on its own. 4 brave explorers ready to ride the most powerful rocket NASA has ever launched. Sound suppression water is flowing.
15.
And here we go. 10, 9, 8,
Oh
7.
my goodness.
RS-25
We are-
engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis 2 now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Damn.
Good roll pitch.
That is so beautiful.
Roger, roll pitch.
Absolutely beautiful.
Houston now controlling the flight of Integrity on the Artemis 2 mission around the moon.
Baseline booster to hear those rockets.
AMT high.
On time.
We're
passing
going to the
30
moon,
seconds.
baby!
Integrity passes the alternate beacon. Target milestone.
Beautiful.
Mission Control Houston seeing good performance on 4 main engines. Space Launch System core stage. Integrity 3 miles in altitude. Traveling more than 1,200 miles per hour.
No! Everybody hoarding.
Mission elapsed time passing 1 minute. Approaching max Q.
On, pumps fully on.
Just imagine the
Stan, we have you
power
loud and clear
that
on
thing
Monday
is.
on.
Have you the same?
Communication signal transfer confirmed as Integrity and its crew go supersonic. Approaching 90 seconds into the Artemis 2 mission. Integrity is 14 miles in altitude, 8 miles downrange, traveling more than 2,600 miles per hour.
That is boom, baby.
One minute 50 seconds of mission elapsed time, standing.
Alright, damn it. Hell of a time. Come on. Way to go, Scott. And we're completely pooched. What happened? Come back, come back. Damn.
Standing by for launch abort system jettison.
I think my previous channel or my internet was going
Houston
goopy.
Integrity, good last jettison, great view.
Copy, jettison. Team Eco 8 plus 02.
We see the same on board, Stan.
And Houston has you loud and clear on Tidris at the Carmen line.
Outstanding, Stan. We have you the same.
Look at that.
3 minutes 50 seconds into the flight of Artemis 2, Wiseman, Glover, Cook, and Hansen cross the boundary to space with good comm checks. GPS signals
Oh,
acquired
damn,
after
looks
last
like I'm in.
jettison, now working on internal checks to verify
Looks like
accuracy.
going to try to knock me out.
Flight dynamics officer analyzed the time of main engine cutoff, confirmed at
All
8 minutes 2 seconds,
right.
time of MECO.
Woo! Sorry, should have turned my bike down. We're going, baby. We're going to the moon. Evan, fantastic. Sorry, should have turned my bike down. We're going, baby. We're going to the moon.
Integrity, GPS processing.
Outstanding, Stan. We see the same, and we have a beautiful moonrise. We're headed right at it.
Approaching 5 minutes into the flight, Commander Reed Wiseman confirms he has visuals of his destination. GPS guidance, navigation, and control software finishes internal checks and sends to navigation channels.
Integrity, 3 engine press.
3 engine press.
On time, now passing 5 minutes 20 seconds of mission elapsed time into the Artemis 2 mission. At this point, 3 good main engines are all that's needed to carry Integrity to a nominal main engine cutoff target. Though at this time, we're seeing 4 good engines here in Mission Control Houston. Integrity, 75 miles in altitude, 330 miles downrange, approaching 10,000 miles per hour.
They need to learn from Elon Musk and have that little engine gauge showing. But then again, he uses... he's battling between a couple big ones and many little ones. And so far, the many little ones are panning out more effective, believe it or not.
Same on board, Stan.
Good trajectory and engine performance. Booster officer will
I
soon
hate it
report
when they
the
do
shutdown
this.
plan to Flight Director Judd Friedling, expected at the 7-minute
You know,
mark.
the animation.
Integrity, 78 miles in altitude, 460 miles downrange.
Integrity, expect
Never
nominal
liked it when they do
shutdown.
that. I like this. Damn, I don't like that crossing my...
Integrity copies nominal shutdown.
Six minutes 40 seconds of mission elapsed time. Shutdown plan is as expected. Again, the time of MECO was confirmed at 8 minutes 2 seconds into the flight.
Look at that beautiful sky. And of course, there was a CME that went off right after I finished doing my pre-launch the other day.
7 minutes of mission elapsed time.
And one thing I was concerned about was a CME or
Throttling
something
down as
blowing.
we approach the abort once around option.
And right after I
Milestone
finished,
at the 7-minute, 30
published,
second mark.
looked over, boom,
Now
there was
84
a
miles in
CME
altitude,
notice heading our
650
way.
miles downrange, traveling more than 15,000 miles per hour.
Integrity, AOA open.
Sweetness.
AOA open.
The window is now open for an abort once around option that would target splashdown in the Pacific Ocean. Still following nominal ascent at this time. About 10 seconds remaining until the main engine cutoff of the Space Launch System core stage. Standing by for confirmation of MECO and core stage separation.
Oh, that's a nice
Nominal MECO,
shot.
core stage separated.
Was not animation. This is animation.
We see the same on board, Stan.
Man, they need to. Yeah, they can learn a little bit more from
8 minutes 40
Musk.
seconds into the flight, we have a nominal main engine cutoff heading
Oh.
in the right trajectory on the way to swing around the moon. Core stage has separated, done its job. The Space Launch System upper stage, the interim cryogenic propulsion stage, or ICPS, still attached to the Orion spacecraft. Nine minutes of mission elapsed time. Integrity crew of Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen now in orbit around the Earth at the beginning of their journey to the moon.
Forward to the moon. Sounds like a bad B-movie science fiction.
And
flick.
Integrity Houston looking ahead to PRM
Lunar
numbers
four.
so far
Forward to
for
the
the pad.
Copy that, Stan. Numbers for the pad.
And if you're wondering why the booster rocket was all
Capcom
orange
Stan
and
loves
primer looking, is
Now reminding
They
the
have
crew
learned
that the perigee raise
save
maneuver
the
time
money,
of ignition
don't
is
paint
as
it,
expected
gonna
prior
burn up
to
anyhow.
booster ignition. That time being 49 minutes 50 seconds of mission
ours
elapsed time.
burn up. And it's a 10-day trip, and it'll be 6 days before they get to the moon, because of course they have to loop around, do a figure eight, and around the bottom of an 8 twice, and then out to the moon. So that's gonna take a little time.
Integrity, good. Neds deploy.
And that's the little unit. They're right up in there.
Copy that, Stan. Good, Neds.
And Integrity Houston for PWD setup. Just a reminder, halfway open on the secondary.
We copy that, Stan. Halfway open.
Maybe they're down in here. Oops, I forgot to.
Passing 11 minutes of mission elapsed time. Here, overhearing the conversation between Capcom Stan Love and Commander Reed Wiseman, already passing some milestones. We have a good nozzle extension deployment system. That is
Excuse me.
confirmed, complete. We also have the visors are confirmed up. Now past the dynamic phase of flight, that is ascent. Their launch and entry suits that provided them an extra layer of protection. Now not as needed. They're going to raise those visors. And later in today's mission, they will begin to egress or get out of the suits to begin some of their initial tasks of activating some of the systems aboard in the Integrity spacecraft. It's passing 12 minutes of mission elapsed time. Again, the perigee raise maneuver that's targeted near 50 minutes of mission elapsed time, 49 minutes 50 seconds. That's what the crew is going to be working towards. The Commander Reed Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover will focus on preparing for that milestone. In the meantime, mission specialists Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen will start some of the activation of environmental control life support systems. You may hear confirmation of their activation over the Orion to Earth communication network.
Houston, C3 Aux Power back in auto.
Copy C3 Aux, and we're 2 minutes to maneuver.
– 13 minutes and 30 seconds of mission elapsed time. We're going to continue to follow the crew of the Artemis 2 mission. They are beginning their journey around the moon to verify the systems that will take us to its surface. An incredible ascent. Artemis 2 is underway. Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen begin their journey to the moon. Still milestones to come up as we await solar array deploy and the critical burns that will get Integrity into high Earth orbit around the Earth before engines are fired to get us around the moon. We'll keep tabs on Integrity and its crew from here in Mission Control Houston. But for now, we're going to send it back to you, Megan and Nicole at the Kennedy Space Center. Very jealous to hear how the launch experience was over on the Space Coast.
Yeah, Gary, if people are just joining us, welcome back to the Space Coast, where we just saw Artemis 2 lift off 14 minutes ago. And wow, what an amazing launch, and an emotional one too. As soon as the rocket lifted off, Nicole, you had tears in your eyes, I had tears in my eyes, and we had all these people around us cheering. It was amazing.
Yeah, the energy was wonderful. I mean, it was a beautiful launch. You know, we've got 4 friends and family members headed to the moon. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, how does that make you feel as someone who, you know, is an astronaut as well, but also, as you said, friends?
Yeah, so proud of them. You know, man, we don't have the words in the English language to describe this kind of an event, and pride.
Try
love,
being German,
so
they'll
many
make
emotions.
one up
Yeah,
for it.
They are truly breaking some barriers, and
Guarantee
hopefully, you know, as Gary just said, they've got a long day ahead of them, so wishing them well on everything, but so far, what a beautiful launch to watch.
Yeah, to be returning to the lunar orbit in more than 50 years. Maybe they go farther from Earth than any other humans before them. Maybe they see parts of the moon that we've never seen before. I mean, what a great start to what could be all of these milestones that we
we'll
break
see
in
something.
just a 10-day
Oh, she's got one of those cool
What a way
pins.
to welcome in the Artemis generation.
I got a couple
Yeah,
of
how do
those
you
laying
feel? I
around
mean, we
somewhere.
saw some
I
beautiful
love 'em.
shots we were covering of course, the rocket.
Loved them in high
of course,
school.
the
Loved them in
Earth,
college.
falling away as
Found
we
them
continue
somewhere.
up into our ascents, but also some of those crowd shots where we saw young and old, just emotional, overcome by this history-making moment.
Man, we are going back to the moon for all, and we saw that today. We saw that in all the crowds. And yeah, you guys just saw that view, the sunrise or sunset. I guess they just made it over the
Told
crest of
ya.
the Earth, and you could see the sun peeking over. One of my favorite views from space, and I can't imagine
Actually,
what they're looking at now, and I can't
somewhere
wait to
around
see
here
what
I've
they're
got
looking
my-
at in
I
about
still
5 or 6
have my
days.
space
And, you know,
pin.
I know a lot of people are like, you know what, I'm surprised this launched on the
Vacuum
first try,
pack
because we know,
special
like
ink
any
will
little
work
thing, we have to be
in zero gravity.
keeping safety in mind, and we want to make sure we're ready to go, but we were ready to go, and I think it surprised a lot of people. What a wonderful surprise on this Wednesday evening.
It did, you know, and it kind of surprised me as well, but, you know, it's just a testament to the team here
Yes.
that has been working so hard on Artemis. You know, Artemis 1, we learned a ton of lessons. We learned a ton from the wet dress for Artemis 2. We were able to go in, fix those things. We even had a couple mishaps today, not mishaps, but a couple anomalies today that the team creatively came up with solutions for. It's just a testament to the teamwork that gets us to the moon.
And so we can continue to watch Christina, Reed, Victor, and Jeremy on their way now to the moon in Earth's orbit and awaiting the next in-flight milestones, deploying Orion's solar arrays. So why don't we get back in with Mission Control and Gary.
Hey, thank you, Megan. Again, we're following
I
along
said
in the
something.
action. It is a long day. They have a number of procedures they need to get to immediately in their timeline.
Oh, okay. About to say,
Integrity
a
Houston.
little too early to
Costa
I
is
would
on
think to
board per the
deploy the
FCM.
array.
We copy Houston, thank you.
I thought that might not be for much longer yet.
cross-tie referring to flight controllers here initiating a
40,000 miles
connection between
to the
some
moon.
of the batteries
That also
aboard
sounds like
the
a
Orion
bad science fiction
spacecraft,
B movie.
allowing for an even distribution of
Look
power.
at that.
This is the
That made out so much more cool.
flight
But
control teams that
remember
took
what
us
it used to
through
look like?
ascent of the Artemis 2 mission today. Right now we're, as you see, passing 18 minutes of mission elapsed time. The
All
Orion
those great
spacecraft
mission badges
integrity
up there.
and the interim cryogenic propulsion system are maneuvering tail to sun. It is in this orientation, this attitude,
Hey, that'll put a lot of YouTubes to shame right there. And gamers.
And Reed, no action. We're looking at it.
Back.
Commander Reed Wiseman verifying what is being routed to his displays aboard Integrity. Propulsion engineer confirming that no action is needed at this time. They're pressing through with their nominal procedures to prepare for the perigee raise maneuver, and of course the solar array wing deploy ahead of that.
The one thing I'm not
The
a
solar
big
wing
fan of.
deploy is a critical milestone. We'll continue to
Nothing wrong with
have
flat
our coverage
screens and touch
follow the
screens.
mission until that deployment. Successful launch is just the beginning. The deployment of the solar arrays and successful confirmation
Something goes wrong
that those
with one of
solar
those
array wings are
displays.
drawing power
There goes your buttons too.
is a significant
opposed to
milestone
having
that says to the
a
flight control
display
teams that we
and
will
then
continue on today's
independent
mission. Power
buttons,
needs to be drawn
switches, knobs,
to
screens.
continue through some of the next
But if it's
milestones.
all controlled by
Until
you
then,
know,
the AOA
one display
open
or
option
a
that
couple of
was called
displays,
up
if
on
something
ascent
happens
via
to one of
board
those
once around
displays,
is the current option,
then
and the
you know
board to orbit
your buttons don't work,
option
your menus
ATO,
don't work,
will be switched to a preferred mode at the time that the
and it
solar array
takes a
wings are
little while
deployed
for
and
the
latched.
IT guys to get
It
to
gives
you.
the flight control teams a little bit more flexibility.
Which again, I'd
update on
volunteer to be
handover
part of that.
for your pad.
Give us just 1 minute. And Stan, you can read it. Ike is ready to copy.
Roger. TDRS handover east to west expected 1 second earlier at 5:1 minutes 26 seconds.
Man, I gotta do something about that. No, that ain't gonna fly. I'm trying to do a little customizations for right now.
Earlier for 5126 TDRS east to west, and saws are starting to deploy. Thermal knives are firing.
We concur. Thanks for the report.
Read back of the reports that you just heard on the Orion to Earth network. Integrity has maneuvered tail to sun. The RL-10 nozzle on the end of the ICPS is pointed towards the sun, and the solar array deployment sequence has begun.
Wow, okay.
With the deployment confirmed, it'll be several minutes until they are what is called in a latched position. Once they are latched and confirmed to be drawing power, they can switch the mode to ATO and continue along the mission.
I'm surprised. I figured
The teacher's handover at the pad, that message meant the crew was provided some preliminary numbers of when to expect handovers between the tracking and data relay satellites. Currently orbiting Earth at an altitude of 545 statute miles above the Earth, they are in a near-Earth network communication system. The tracking and data relay satellites, geosynchronous satellites that are stationed about 23,000 miles above the Earth. After the apogee raise burn that occurs later today, the burn itself will put them in an altitude that surpasses the range of the tracking and data relay satellites, and they will transition to the deep space network today.
And Integrity, for prop messages, we see 2 temperature measurements right near the line. It's that momentary message you saw earlier. We're going to suppress those. It's CM helium heater 2 T1 and heater 1 T1. They're going suppressed.
Integrity, thank you. We see the same.
This is Mission Control Houston, passing 23 minutes of mission elapsed time into the Artemis II mission. This is after a launch that began at 5:35 and 12 seconds Central Time, 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. Right now, the orientation you're seeing from our aero visualization that translates some of the telemetry that we're getting from the spacecraft and puts it into a model so you can follow along on some of the milestones that we are following here. The RL-10 nozzle that you see at the left end of your screen, though it is currently not firing, that nozzle is pointed towards the sun, and the solar arrays are currently deploying. From this visualization, they look fully stowed in a position.
Integrity, we are happy to report that Jeremy has the O2 sensors on.
Copy O2 sensors.
Again, Commander Reed Wiseman and pilot Victor Glover overseeing the deployment of the solar arrays. And we'll follow the attitude maneuver changes ahead of the first burn of the ICPS engine, the perigee raise maneuver.
Integrity Houston, we see 4 saws deployed and latched, ready for ATO preferred.
Yeah, we're almost there in the procedure stand, and we see the same thing.
And Integrity Houston, we are seeing a 7-second miscompare between the MET on Orion and ICPS. We'd like you to read us the MET from your center status bar and for the ICPS on StackSum.
And Stan, we see a absolutely precise alignment. MET 25, 14, 15, 16, precisely aligned with ICPS MET.
Copy, thank you for that. We'll investigate a ground issue.
And Houston Integrity, ATO preferred set.
Copy, ATO preferred.
This is Mission Control Houston, 25 minutes, 45 seconds into the flight of Artemis II. We have confirmation that all 4 solar array wings are deployed and latched. This is the configuration needed to switch to ATO preferred, which you did hear confirmed from pilot Victor Glover. That mode has been switched. There's also a discussion with Capcom Stan Love and Commander Reed Wiseman about the alignment of the MET clocks on the Orion spacecraft and the ICPS. Commander Reed Wiseman confirmed the clocks are in sync, no issues, they're going to investigate it on the ground. We're proceeding with today's mission. 26 minutes of mission elapsed time and counting. This is Mission Control Houston. We're approaching 28 minutes of mission elapsed time into the Artemis II mission. At this point, we've had a successful liftoff from the pad at 5:35 p.m. and 12 seconds p.m. Central Time, 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. We've had a good main engine cutoff, core stage separation, and a good trajectory to begin today's mission. Right now, the spacecraft has maneuvered tail to sun. We're standing by for another maneuver to maneuver into the burn attitude. This is where the RL-10 engine of the ICPS is pointed in the correct orientation for the perigee raise maneuver. We did hear confirmation that the perigee raise maneuver time of ignition has been confirmed per the pad, which means it was the predicted time prior to liftoff.
Integrity for GNC, we're taking channel 1 to unfiltered and to BFS.
Okay, Stan, we're watching. Go ahead.
Capcom Stan Love reading up to the crew of Integrity. They will switch the navigation source from channel 1, standing by for confirmation that that switch has occurred. Pilot Victor Glover will receive confirmation when, and as at least watching to confirm that that switch has occurred. Again, the perigee raise maneuver that we're heading towards, not too long from now, we're actually inside 20 minutes at this time from the time of ignition of the perigee raise maneuver. We did have a successful deployment and launched of all 4 solar array wings. This is the configuration needed to commit to the perigee raise maneuver. Of course, flight controllers here in Mission Control Houston will continue to evaluate that everything is good before committing to that burn. The perigee raise maneuver does raise the perigee, the lowest point in the orbit, from 15 to 100 nautical miles. The 100 nautical mile mark is needed to continue in low Earth orbit and hit the target for the apogee raise burn. That will put them in a high Earth orbit for the remainder of the day and set them up for the right position to execute the translunar injection and head to the moon tomorrow. The burn duration of the perigee raise maneuver is 26 seconds. A relatively short burn, but it does raise the perigee and do the job to get into the correct position before firing that main engine on the ICPS. The pad had a TDRS handover. This is the tracking and data relay satellites. East to west, they are geosynchronous satellites that are positioned around the globe.
Find it.
And as
I know what
Orion
desk it's in,
makes
but
its
that drawer
way,
is
around
my
the
junk
Earth right
drawer,
now,
but it's got my pen's hiding in
above
there.
the west coast of Africa, at an altitude of about 923.
Yes, the thing's already
statute
over
miles,
Africa. I would like to have an airline
and
like
counting.
that. You know,
The perigee raise maneuver is not executed at the perigee. It is
You'd
rather
already be in
executed
Europe.
on the, actually closer to the apogee. But what it does is it raises the perigee on the other end of the orbit to 100 nautical miles. The 26-second duration burn does not conflict with the time that they've reported of the tracking and data relay satellite handover from TDRS east to west. Again, geosynchronous satellites that are used not only by Integrity today, but the International Space Station as well. That time of handover is 51 minutes, 26 seconds. Plenty of margin before the perigee raise maneuver cutoff happens, and the trajectory is analyzed to see whether it was a good burn Good burn means that the burn was performed as expected and sets the trajectory on course for that 100 nautical mile perigee target mark. Again, for those sticking with us on NASA Plus and following along on our coverage, we will continue to follow and to cover the mission until, actually, we'll continue to cover the mission 24/7. But we'll wrap up our coverage here shortly. And now that solar array wing deployment has occurred on NASA Plus and Amazon Prime. Again, we will continue coverage 24/7 at the NASA YouTube channel. For those that want to see all of the upcoming milestones, there are select times where we will be coming back to NASA Plus and other streaming platforms. You can go to nasa.gov to find the latest on when to find those activities. Given that this is an operational mission, we do want to make sure that we are maintaining transparency in the mission and providing you all the information on what's happening in space as Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen head on their mission around the moon. Inside Integrity at this time, again, the solar array wings have deployed. The Integrity is maneuvering to its burn attitude ahead of the execution of the perigee raise maneuver. Overseeing these steps is primarily done by Commander Reed Wiseman and pilot Victor Glover. Mission specialists Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen focusing on some of the system activation inside of Orion, namely the environmental and control and life support systems. The activation and checkout of some of these critical systems are very important to continuing on the mission, making sure that those systems are in a good condition and in a reliable condition to provide the necessary environmental and control needs of the crew with humans on board through the duration of the mission that extends 10 flight days. Standing by for an update to the perigee raise maneuver time of ignition. Should be read up to the crew very shortly.
Integrity Houston, updated PRM numbers when you're ready to copy.
All right, Houston, we are ready to copy.
TIG is 2 seconds earlier at 4 9er minutes for 8 seconds. TIGO unchanged at 2.6 seconds.
49:48, TIGO 26.
This is Mission Control Houston. With that update, we are approaching a little more than 13 minutes from the time of ignition of the perigee raise maneuver. That time updated to be 2 seconds earlier was 49 minutes, 50 seconds of mission elapsed time. We'll now move to 49 minutes, 48 seconds. The duration of the burn, that's what was referred to as the TGO, will still remain at 26 seconds. Relatively short duration burn, again, just raises the perigee of the orbit today. Making sure they hit the mark on that time of ignition is the primary concern of Commander Reed Wiseman and pilot Victor Glover. Mission specialist Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen inside activating those environmental control and life support systems.
Solar panels that are already extended. It's hard to see on every. I'm looking across on 3 monitors.
At this time, all 4 crew members are wearing the launch and entry suits.
Integrity Houston, for Optimus on the PCD, we have time update instructions when you're ready.
Must be a view. Little windows right there. 4 windows. They each get
And
one.
Houston,
Woo-hoo.
Integrity, we copy. Hands are pretty busy at this time. I think we will call you back when we're ready for that.
All right, that one is not urgent. 2 minutes to maneuver to PRM attitude.
I like that. Can only play so many instruments
We
at a
are
time,
watching
sir.
And, concurred. 90 seconds-ish, maybe.
Pilot Victor Glover confirming that that maneuver less than 2 minutes. Again, that the point of that maneuver is to point the main engine of the ICPS, the RL-10 engine, in the proper orientation to execute that 26-second burn. It needs to point in the correct position to achieve the goal of raising the perigee to 100 nautical miles. You heard some of the environmental control system activations over Orion to Earth. Jeremy Hansen activated the O2 sensors. They'll be measuring the cabin of Orion. During all of the activations, here on the ground in Mission Control Houston, Flight Director Judd Freeling is doing a poll with all flight controllers in the room to see if we are in a go position to go ahead and execute the perigee raise maneuver. Once concluded, Stan Love will report it back up to the crew, and we'll stand by for that.
Integrity Houston, MCC polls go for PRM pending attitude and saws.
Hey, we copy. MCC is go. Maneuver starting.
Minutes of mission elapsed time. The maneuver to the burn attitude has begun. The maneuver also is paired with reorientation of the solar array wings that have been deployed. They will have various positions throughout the duration of the flight. Of course, solar array is meant to maximize the draw of power from the sun. So when deployed, we're in a biased solar array wing configuration that was called solar normal. This allows for the greatest surface area of the solar array wings to be drawing power and powering up those batteries of Integrity.
That's a cool idea.
A cross tie was
Very
enabled
clever
between the four
idea.
batteries, the four battery buses that are inside of Orion. However, for the perigee raise maneuver, the solar array wings will be put into a position to take on the loads imparted by the ICPS main engine when they execute the 26-second burn. You can see in the animation here, the solar array wings are in motion, and the attitude is being reconfigured to point the engine in the correct direction, those solar array wings being pointed forward.
Yeah, see, you need to work on your display, because I see darkness. You know, on 1, 2, 3 monitors are all their animation. Okay, there we can see one. See, they're here. I thought it was a bit early to deploy them, but now they're coming up to cover its head.
You're getting a live look inside the Artemis II mission flight control room. The team you see here oversaw the ascent of our 4 astronauts inside Integrity, launching at 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. Now again, this room will be occupied 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with flight controllers shifting on 3 shifts to oversee 24/7 operations of Artemis II while in flight. We will cover that live on the NASA YouTube channel, and we'll be covering that around the clock. as we begin to wrap up our coverage here on NASA Plus. Before I do want to send it over to our colleagues at the Kennedy Space Center. And to my colleagues, it was a pleasure to join the teams at the Kennedy Space Center and be a part of such a historic launch. Here in Houston, again, we're turning our attention to the mission. And for now, we'll say farewell and thank you to our colleagues there for today's launch coverage. We'll see you again soon for Splashdown. This is Mission Control Houston, sending it back over to Megan and Nicole at the host desk.
Thank you, Gary. And yes, it was such a pleasure to be a part of this historic mission that started right here at Kennedy Space Center. It was such an amazing sight to be a part of. And now, as Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen begin their journey, we here at the Kennedy Space Center are about to wrap our broadcasts. We'll, of course, though, have 24/7 coverage with our colleagues at Johnson Space Center starting as soon as we sign off, so don't worry. You can follow along our 4 astronauts every minute of their nearly 10-day journey to the moon and back. Nicole, I'll definitely be watching it, and I'm sure you will, too.
Yes, of course. You know, they just started, right? The launch was beautiful. This was a historic day. They're on their way back to the moon for the first time in over half a century, but they've got a lot of work
don't
ahead
put
of
it
them,
that
so
way.
we're excited to see what they have to do and excited to test out the Orion spacecraft. This is a test flight after all, and we're excited to see what we can learn from this mission.
Very humbling, inspiring. It was really amazing to be a part of this, and I'm so glad that so many people joined along, whether you're watching here in person or watching online. And of course, Nicole, thank you so much for sitting through this, answering questions, adding so much context and information that really brought a lot out.
Almost 45 minutes since launch already.
You're a rock star. You're
Oh my
a professional.
gosh,
This was great.
Oh, you're great.
So this was a wonderful day.
Well, again, thank you so much, and thank you to you for watching at home. You know, tonight we didn't just launch a rocket, we launched the next chapter of human exploration. Our Artemis II crew now on their way back to the moon, and we're taking you with us. So thank you again for watching, and go Artemis II.
Look at that. She's got 2 cell phones and a laptop. She likes to stay
All
in
4 astronauts, and it appears all of them are undergoing their suit leak checks. Yes, a pre-flight tradition that we have seen with our crewed flights, the card game. The astronauts who have just left crew suit up and are now walking down a hallway.
Houston Control.
And here they are, NASA's Artemis II crew, taking their first steps outside for their historic test flight. And the 4 of them step into their Astrovan. And off they go. Oh, this must feel so special to the crew to see all of these people here. Watching the crew walk across the crew access arm, getting a beautiful view. Everybody configured with their suits, so in we go. And the closeout crew has closed the launch abort system hatch.
3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis II now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Oh. All right, this is Mission Control Houston. Welcome back for our 24/7.
We're losing it.
Houston, welcome back for our 24/7 coverage of the Artemis II mission. At this time, we are a little more than 1 minute from the time of ignition. At this time, we are a little more than 1 minute from the time of ignition of the perigee raise maneuver. At this time, the Orion spacecraft Integrity has been maneuvered into the burn attitude, is pointed in the right direction, and the solar arrays are in the position to take on the loads imparted by the 26-second burn. Now at 1 minute to the perigee raise maneuver. Teams here are part of the ascent team of the Artemis II mission. Now getting our first views from one of the solar array wing cameras over the tracking and data relay satellites. We are in a night pass as we are about a little more than 1,300 statute miles above the Earth, just east off the coast of Madagascar. So we have, you can see the Terminator line right just west of the Philippines and the west coast of Australia, where we'll start to get some sunlight again. Now we're just seconds away from the time of ignition. We have ignition.
Oh, here we go.
You can see the perigee raise maneuver from the main engine of the ICPS firing from the solar array wing.
Barely see it. Right in over here.
Standing by for confirmation of cutoff.
Integrity, good PRM, and 1 minute to Teeter's handover.
Copy that. We see the same on board, and the sun is rising on Integrity.
Outstanding.
And with that, the first burn of the interim cryogenic propulsion system has been completed and put the crew on the right trajectory to get them to the moon.
Houston,
there are
Integrity for toilet setup, step 2.5.
Go ahead.
Yes, there was not an installed Oxon inlet filter, even with empty Oxone in the hose when I opened up the filter.
Blue screen. See, it's fake. Yeah. Come on. Trying to get another display going here, but I'm maxing out my capacities.
This is Mission Control Houston. Again, we had a good perigee raise maneuver that sets us on course to execute the next major burn, the apogee raise burn. Now, the perigee raise maneuver just adjusts the orbit while we are in low Earth orbit, but the apogee raise burn is quite a significant burn, just shy of 18 minutes long.
Integrity Houston on TDRS West. White Sands is receiving data. Houston is not. We're still troubleshooting.
Not that that's bad, but it's supposed to kick over to Houston Control.
That
Great,
was
White Sands got it, so that's backup. So
part of the
we're still
SN
good.
team
But
here in Mission Control Houston.
Houston would rather have it.
We changed over to point to one of the tracking and data relay satellites at the expected time.
Oh, okay.
That time was updated to 51 minutes, 26 seconds of mission elapsed time, going from TDRS East to TDRS West. Upon switching to TDRS West, Mission Control Houston, not seeing some of the data coming from Orion, coming from Integrity. So we're standing by to regain the ability and troubleshoot some of the rationale as to why we are having some intermittent gaps in our data and communications with the crew. Now, again, as the teams are troubleshooting.
Integrity Houston in the blind. We see good solar normal maneuver. ARB TIG is expected to be 45 seconds earlier than the pad. That's 1 hour, 46 minutes, 0 9 seconds. No update to TIGO yet.
That was Capcom Stan Love here in Mission Control Houston. He used the term "in the blind." That refers to as part of the data that we are not getting from the TDRS West satellite. Noting that we understand that we may not be receiving communications from the crew, though they may be able to hear us. So Stan Love reporting what status is known on our end. We do know that. From the data we are receiving, that the upper stage and Integrity have maneuvered to solar normal meaning that the orientation, the attitude of the spacecraft is such that the solar arrays can draw the maximum amount of power.
Integrity Houston in the blind for Christina. Just before the TDRS handover, we heard your report about the lack of an Oxone inlet filter. We copy that there is not one installed as expected, but please put in a new one.
Yeah, we forgot to put it in.
Team here you see in this row at the Capcom console is NASA astronaut Stan Love, the voice that you're hearing from the teams here in Mission Control Houston up to the crew of Integrity. A Capcom voice that you'll hear throughout the mission as well. Next to Dr. Love, to his right is Jackie Mahaffey, the Chief Training Officer for the Artemis II crew, and a voice that you'll hear from here in Mission Control Houston. Flight Director Judd Freeling is to Stan Love's left. The ascent flight director and leading the teams through the ascent that happened today. And to the left of Judd Freeling is Flight Director Rick Henfling, part of the entry teams here on console to oversee the ascent portion. He'll be returning to console on flight day 9 to prepare for the splashdown on a nominal timeline for flight day 10.
Houston in the blind. We're rebooting some ground equipment to try to recover the link. Expect 10 minutes.
Now, one thing that's important they still do is this fellow right here is in charge of the show. And they still use, well, they use an astronaut to be in charge of the show. They used to have a NASA employee per se, but after a little communications with the original Apollo guys,
this is Mission Control Houston.
Even before that.
Again, the teams here are
they got a little snooty, and
the
astronauts
lack of a
insisted
forward link
that another astronaut be the guy in
to
charge.
Communicate with the crew aboard Orion.
Somebody who's been there, done that as well.
Planning to reset some ground equipment.
Pencil
as
pusher.
The forward link was dropped at the time that we switched from TDRS East to TDRS West. That happened, that handover period started at mission elapsed time
we've
of
been on for an hour. I think I'm going to call it. So
Capcom Stan Love reporting some updates, what is called in the blind. Meaning that though
it was a blast, quite literally a blast. We were on the way to the moon, which is like totally cool.
Also, reminder, we are still receiving good IDPS data.
This is the view from the last time we were on the moon with Apollo 17. That was Earthrise taken
Capcom,
from there,
Stan
which
Love,
is pretty cool.
Reporting to the crew in the blind, meaning there may be an ability for the crew to hear the calls from the ground. We do know that we are not able to hear any of the crew calls coming from Orion. We did just confirm that we are receiving data from the upper stage, and that allows us to understand and confirm the attitude and orientation of both spacecraft, knowing that they are at solar normal. And with the reboot, we're starting to get some data here. We'll confirm that the data we are receiving is good.
Alrighty, folks. Again, whoever tuned in, Oh, now I just cut things off and they're showing.
With the regain of
We
comm,
got
we're
a
starting
live
to get some
footage here.
views
Oh,
aboard the
man.
Orion spacecraft.
Integrity Houston, voice check on TDRS.
Gotcha. All right. Didn't quite shut that one out.
Stan Hallis.
And
course.
we now have you the same. Good to hear your voice.
There we go. Communications established. You can see the
Yeah,
solar
good.
panels. One up there, one down there. And
Right, we are still trying to understand whether the automated swap to S-band string 2 recovered comm for us or what was going on the ground. We gave you calls about an ARB TIG and an Oxone inlet filter. Did you copy them?
yes, they said replace it because it's not one in there.
Copied all.
Excellent.
We forgot to put one in.
This is Mission Control Houston, though the solutions that were applied to regain the communications from Integrity
Reboot
is
it.
not known which one worked. We do know that we are receiving data. We're getting confirmation that is updating some
you
of our
try
telemetry
turning it off,
that
then
shows
turning
that
it
the
back on
solar
again?
array wings have been reconfigured to the solar normal. Again, drawing as much power as possible. While Integrity is in flight and awaiting the next burn, the apogee raise burn. And you just heard confirmed, though Stan Love was reporting some things in the blind, meaning we could not hear the crew respond to any of the calls that were going on Orion to Earth. We did confirm from Reed Wiseman aboard Integrity that they did hear all of the calls that Capcom Stan Love was reporting.
And Integrity for comm, while we are sorting out the earlier comm loss, we plan to remain on S-band string 2.
Copy S-band string 2, and Quid 19 has been inhibited for right CCD.
Copy Quid 19.
And I'll try it again. But as soon as I close this one off, they'll come up with something new. But that's all right. That's cool. We're game for that. We're game for that. We can goof with it. Anyhow, once again, whoever tunes in, whoever watches it, thank you very much.
Mission Control Houston.
We're on the way to the moon.
Commander Reed Wiseman working through his steps at this time
53
in the timeline.
years ago.
Mission specialists Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen.
That was Apollo 17.
Should be closing out some of the
1969.
procedures.
I was sitting on the living room
that
floor
were
watching
activating some
the
of the
same
environmental
thing.
control and life support systems. And again, those steps relayed from Capcom Stan Love were received by the crew. So
when
they,
we landed on the moon,
so they did copy them.
my
and,
father got out
address any
his
of the,
targeting telescope. It's designed for shooting ranges, so you can, see the target and see where you hit.
For Mission Specialist 1 and 2, that's Christina
He took
Cook
that
and
out
Jeremy
and
Hansen.
put it on
Per
the
timeline,
top of his
they are in the
big ass Chevy truck.
off or take off
The ones that had the really nice hips to it.
the launch and entry suits.
Back when they made trucks
Reed
that looked like
Wiseman
trucks.
and pilot Victor Glover.
And he was trying to use that to see if he could see people running around on the moon. Of course, that scope didn't have enough power to do anything like that. And I wanted to see,
ahead of the day's
and
activities.
we were like, actually,
covering a
right,
CCD
the street,
cushion control
truck was
device.
parked in the street in the front yard, so we were, I was there hanging around, a couple others of us were,
a nominal timeline,
and
of course,
he held me up
addressing the
to look through the
communication
scope,
link
and,
by,
oh my God, it was
setting some
bright,
ground equipment,
right,
changing the, string of communications,
which is probably
which,
why I remember it,
full data from the ICBS,
and probably
as
why
well
I got
as the
into
Orion
astronomy.
spacecraft.
And physics and whatnot, but I still remember to this day being lifted up and that the light was bright, but I still saw some of the moon, but I'm like going, oh my eye, goopy kid. Then it was like, he put me back down, and then it's like, no, bring me back up. Yeah, that was me, 1969. Actually, it was right around my birthday, too, because my birthday's on the 17th, so they kind of took off before my birthday happened, and then they were landing on the moon. So that, that was pretty cool, which also probably, probably added to the coolness and why I remember some of this stuff.
Stan, can you power on the toilet, and then we'll stand by for your work for Jeremy and Christina.
This is needed. Probably didn't want that going over the world, but please turn on the toilets.
Can you confirm the HHP cam has been powered
Somebody's
down?
copies
And
run
for
through.
Christina is whether the urine filter, that's the rubber part, was installed, but just no beads connected.
Okay, we're TMI now.
And that's
Didn't I tell you to take care of that before we left? Come on.
And Stan,
You're professionals there.
right now. Jeremy will get the HHP cameras after that.
Okay, well, all right. Said it before, I'll say it again.
So it's taking a little bit of all the connectors, so it's
Oh, you
taking a
probably
little bit of
didn't hear that. Yeah, you did. I got the
Thank you.
monitor still on over there. Well, maybe you did.
Commander Reed Wiseman aware of the steps. The
Anyhow,
initial
they
steps for
had
mission
to
specialist Christina Cook
request
and,
someone to turn the
Jeremy
toilets
Hansen
on.
working on some of the systems inside, while the
And the
commander
PEEP
and
filters.
pilot monitor the
Quality
flight
stuff here,
of
folks.
integrity.
Quality stuff.
Houston, toilet is powered, waste tank purged.
Nope. Toilet's good to go. Waste tank purged.
We copy that, Stan. Thank you.
Some of the equipment inside needs to be activated by flight controllers here in Mission.
Polite way to
Houston.
put it. Some of the
Activation of
equipment
some of
needs
these
to be.
necessary for their trip.
Yeah,
on their
having
first
the
day in
crapper
orbit
works.
as part of the Artemis 2 mission. While
I mean, there's 4 of them, and they got to
Christina
share
Cook
it.
addressed the waste systems that are on board now that they're activated and purged. Jeremy
And
Hansen
since
working
there's
on
no
a potable
gravity,
water
those things
display,
are a suction bit.
potable water dispenser.
I'm quite sure
rather.
that's probably an interesting
One of
experience.
his initial steps is to activate the equipment and start filling some bags as a reserve.
Now they go, this is no problem because your body
So
can
he's
inject
working
the
through
liquid
those
out
steps.
just fine. So that's
HHP cameras, one
you
of the
don't need
internal
gravity
cameras
feed for that. You got pressure from your body
integrity.
to do that. But pooping?
HHP camera was one that
That
was
needs a little
captured
gravity
the vibration
assists
of
there too.
ascent.
All right,
and recorded
this
into the
conversation's
flight
really gotten
computers.
bad, so I'm gonna call it. Finally, I know I've said it twice before now, but okay. Bye, guys. We're on the way to the moon. Totally cool.
Yeah, it helps you.
Yay!
You all had, seemed like you had a good forward.
Now we got more to go, and I'll be live when more things come up.
And everything looked good. The only thing we did not have
And
good,
see you
I don't know if
then.
that helps you.
Bye. We're out.
That helps
We're out about.